Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
We're going to teabag fight.
Yeah. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Session. It's March 15th, and we are here to deliver some good beer info for you. We have Luke from Wren House Brewing in Arizona. Luke, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you you sending in beer all the way out here. And like I was telling you a little bit before the show started, I met Sully halfway into town and gave him some of the beer too. Sorry, Kim. I have cans for you, but I didn't want to go to, whatever hospice care you're in or something like that.
Just too far.
Well, it's just a little too far, man. Yeah. So anyway. So Sully's going to be drinking the beer with me, which I really like. I like it's not just me drinking the beer, then I can have a moment to like think about why I'm incorrect with what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that. It's a lot of pressure to be dissecting a beer by yourself.
It really is, man. At first, it was sort of like a source of like pride or like something I can gloat about. Or like I have all this beer, and then the more the show sort of rolled on, it's like, oh man, this is really all my my fault to deliver this information.
It's also one of those things where, like, you probably internally are having this moment where you're like, Jesus, I'm just drinking here by myself, and what's this is so getting wasted.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that.
Drinking alone is a sign of something. I think you might have to get into a group.
Well, and it was funny seeing you, Sully, because first of all, I waited for you longer than I saw you, but like. I fucked my back up today, literally walking around my house talking to you on the phone. I don't know how it happened. Like, I don't know what happened to me, but that drive out there, we met halfway in Concord, that was painful. I was like almost in tears. My back was just destroyed. So
this is going to be a good show.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's mainly old man talks about his pains.
Well, I'm kind of like right there with you because I got my second COVID vaccine yesterday and I was doing fine. And then about like 3 hours ago, it was like, what's this fatigue stuff going on here? What's going on? And so I was like, all right, I'm just blaming it on the fact I didn't get a good night's sleep. But I took a shower. I'm doing fine. So you're back. My COVID.
We're great. Vaccine. Kim, what's wrong with you? It's funny because we were talking in the parking garage there, which was weird, by the way. It was the parking garage right next to the Hop Grenade. Number one, didn't go in the Hop Grenade, which was weird. But number two, it's like I haven't been in that parking garage in a year now. And just driving down like the side streets, like just cars are everything's back to normal apparently. And
yeah, you haven't been out of the house much. I mean, you were still wearing your pajamas when I saw you too.
I'm literally still wearing the same clothes.
And exchanging bags of goods.
Exactly.
In a seedy parking garage in downtown Concord. But yeah, you were talking, and I could tell that you weren't. All your faculties weren't there, or you were tired. You were a little.
Yeah, I was out there. I was definitely like, I was fine the first shot, no big deal. Second one, I was fine. And then like literally like a couple hours ago, I was like, what the fuck is going on right now? So, I
just got my first, so I'm hoping.
You got your first. How did you fare? Did you do all right?
Fine. I got it yesterday, and today I hit the mountain, did some skiing, and
show off.
Definitely messed my back up a bit today, but
you messed your back up too. So you're just trying to one up Sully and I, because we individually have, but now you have both issues.
Yeah, he's like, messed my back up skiing, COVID shot.
Oh, God.
It's a good life in northern Arizona.
And Kim, you said you've been to Wren House, right?
Yeah, I have a few times. My parents live in Tucson, and for a while they lived in Glendale, just outside of Phoenix. So that's one of their go-to spots. Since they've lived in the 3 best beer states in the U.S., now they do nothing but complain about how Arizona doesn't have enough good spots, but Wren House being one of their 2 favorites. So I hear a lot about Wren House.
And your dad's a local, like a regular. I mean, a regular of the bar.
He is a regular, yes. I have the talking points. I have the text message up and ready and queued, so that way I can refer to it, so he doesn't get upset I missed anything, so we're good.
I love that your dad's a regular.
And he's best friends with the staff, is that right?
I'm using the term friends loosely here. Probably everyone's like, oh God, this guy again.
No, I bet if I asked Andrew about this man, he would have a ton to say. So,
I mean, I may need to disassociate
the friendship
myself.
is warranted for sure.
Yeah, isn't that where you died, Kim? Didn't you die in Arizona?
I did die in Arizona, and one of the places that I was able to hit up before I came back to California as I was in recovery was Wren House. So their beer helped get me to where I am today.
If you ever do a collaboration beer for fundraiser for whatever, the beer needs to be called I Died in Arizona.
I died in Arizona.
That's a good name.
But Tombstone would have to make it.
See?
Yeah, sure.
Now you're talking, man. I love it. I think that's, I think it's pretty cool. Well, anyway, enough about Kim. Luke, let's talk about you, man. How are you? How you doing, man?
I'm great. Yeah.
I just feel like starting the conversation with just a normal. I went and got my my car, like the oil change, whatever. It's like 2,000 miles overdue for fucking oil change, but I'm not trying to do that during the pandemic. It was weird. And I drop it off, and like I'm like kind of wandering, waiting to be helped. I'm outside, of course, and they're like, "Oh, you can wait inside." I'm like, "Yeah, sure. No, I'm gonna just go outside. Thanks, it's cool." And the guy he opens the door. He comes out and he goes, "How you doing, man?" Like very, very sincere. And I'm like, I don't know, man. We're still here. I think
your car's wrecked.
Yeah, and he's like, "Good, but you're good, right? You're okay?" Like he was genuinely concerned about me, and I'm like, I don't know what to. Can you just change the oil in my car, brother? I don't know what to tell you, man. Anyway, I felt like
coming in for a hug.
Yeah, I felt like going on with that.
I already grieved today, man. It's not gonna happen with you.
Yeah, I always cry before I get up, so I'm all cried out for you, random car guy at the dealer. Anyway, Luke, let me talk a little bit about your history, man. How did you get involved in brewing? Were you a home brewer before all this mess happened?
Yeah, exactly. Started as a kind of a young brewer. I homebrewed in college, and I was kind of bartending, paying my way through college, had a couple craft beer bars at 20, and really started getting a beer, turned 21. And right when I turned 21, just a few months later, Wren House opened that year in June 2015. And then I joined up in November of 2015 and started part-time, working in the back part-time. We were pretty small at that point, like 500 to 600 barrels that first year, I believe.
Okay.
So it was just kind of some part-time help with Preston Teeny, who's the founding brewer, and he's now the director of brewery operations.
Okay.
So he kind of trained me up for a bit, and then I just kind of took over production of that facility, and now I'm up at our new facility in Prescott, Arizona. We got a 30-barrel, 3-vessel brew house.
Oh, wow. Damn.
So I've been with the company since 2015. I had a short stint a couple of years ago with Arizona Wilderness, another local brewery.
Sure,
They
yeah.
needed someone to do their sour program with their wood barrels and their 30-barrel fooders they have. So I was kind of doing that for a few months. And then Wren House started seeing some expansion in their future and kind of hit me up again and restarted that relationship. And I've been with them for more than a couple of years now.
Okay, so you were with them, you left, and then you came back.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you already knew the situation, what's going on. Did you demand more money? You're like, well, look, if you want me to come back to you, you need to pay me way more money.
Yeah. And just looking at companies' growth and what the future looks like, and then putting yourself there. So
that's cool.
How did they find you the first time? Before they opened?
It was kind of so Drew Poole and Bill Hammond are the two co-founders. They both work full time at Intel. They just have kind of a passion for craft beer, and you know that story. So they wanted to open a pretty nondescript 10-barrel brewery in Phoenix, push out of the tap room quite a bit. Drew Poole would come to the bar I worked at quite a bit, Angel's Trumpet, this craft beer bar in Phoenix. And we kind of just became loose friends, and I gave him some of my homebrew to try, and I was brewing some weird like table poppy galaxy saisons as like a college kid, and he was like, he thought it was cool and different, and Drew's like a big Fantôme lover, and he definitely knows the nooks of craft beer, so he was into it, and we just hit it off really well, and I started with the company.
So
back then.
You were making like hoppy Belgian table beers.
Yeah, just on my homebrew system.
See, that's right. That's my sort of vibe too. I love those beers. As a matter of fact, anything like totally. That. You look low alcohol, but you can still be expressive, and you get the hop combination with the yeast. Yeah, it is also very forgiving.
Very forgiving.
Just that, yeah. I always heard the story. I one of my first NHCs. I think the dude from Fantôme, or maybe somebody was telling a story about a tour from Fantôme. Anyway, like the mash tun had like spider webs in it, and they were like, "Well, do you ever clean the mash tun?" He's like, "No, it gets boiled. It's fine. It doesn't matter." Like, it's such a homebrewer vibe.
He mashes out on the floor. Yeah, he just lets it all spill out.
It's like whatever, dude. It's fine. Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
God, I don't know. I can't even imagine that. So Wren House was your first professional job.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you nervous at all? I mean, how do you?
Or then?
Well, I don't know. Both, I guess. I mean, then, because I imagine you had no experience in a brewery, except your own, and you have to figure out where all this stuff goes. You have to figure out what to do and how your efficiency is and all that kind of stuff. How do you transition into that?
It was just such a slow process. I mean, so Preston came from Big Sky. He was one of their like kind of lead shift brewers. They were really had a pretty manual system, so they had a few shift brewers there.
Okay.
And so he kind of knew his way around such a big facility, but honestly, it was kind of new for both of us turning 10-barrel batches of kind of one-off beers all the time for the tap room to consume. And I mean, we didn't even start canning for the first 2.5 years, I believe. Okay. So it was just such a different thing for both of us, and we were just playing around, honestly, and at the same time dialing in our skills of production efficiency and how to make more money, per batch. And so we just kind of slowly learned that, and now I'm brewing on average. I'm set to do maybe 10 to 12,000 barrels this year out of our new facility.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's definitely been a big leap. Yeah, it's been a big leap.
Well,
we're tired. We're good.
Yeah, I imagine, man. That tires me just hearing about it. I feel like now, or within the last couple of years, maybe not literally at this moment right now, but in the last couple of years, I think it's a good time to be a brewery with a tap room, trying to figure out their system efficiency and all that, because you are just turning over different beer after different beer, and you can sort of learn as you're serving, beer, considering the product is good, obviously, all that kind of stuff.
Feedback from your customers, and and I think we got it as dialed in as we were happy with, and then it was kind of like, what's next, and that's usually growth from that size. So.
How did you your facility in Phoenix? What was? It's kind of a unique space. It looks like it's an old house almost. What is it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's an old Phoenix bungalow, I think built in the 1910s. It was originally a man kind of was living there, and he made mirrors in the back.
That sounds like really weird.
It was like a mirror shop. And then
I don't know why that's so funny to me. Maybe
it is.
This is man-made mirror.
we have this kind of rectangularly, ultra tall, obscure building in the back that's just all blacked out, and that's our brewery. The second story was added in the 70s back there for some low-income apartment housing for migrant workers, and then a baker, and then it was kind of abandoned for a long time. A bakery bought it up again in the 90s, I believe, and kind of got a big walk-in space set up there, and they were producing bread, and then it was kind of not used again, and then these guys just kind of came about it, and it was a great deal, and it's definitely got some character. I definitely have big love for that place. It's what got us going. So yeah, we converted that house into a tap room, just real small, 14-seater bar, little community table behind it, and a couple bathrooms and a couple tables on the side, and
that's it.
We just started pouring a ton of beer out of there.
I love that story, man, because it's like no matter who it is, you ask the brewer or whatever, the history of whatever building they're in, and they'll tell you. It's like it's like a thing that you have
to know. They knew the whole thing. Literally, when the first plank went in,
they really
the beer shop guy. I mean, there's got to be a beer name there somewhere.
Oh yeah, overlooked on our end.
Reflections or whatever. Yeah. What kind of beer do you guys specialize in? Are you a house that specializes in certain beers, or are you sort of all over the map?
I mean, what takes our heavy production, about half of our production is our house IPA, Spellbinder. And then right next to that is a kind of it's all pretty even leveled, but we do a ton of double IPA, all kind of in the hazy style. We mess around with West Coast beer every once in a while. But right next to that is our lager production. We have two of our core beers are lagers. One is a Nelson Dry Hops Pilsner, very light Nelson character. And I think you guys got that in your pack.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that.
Yeah, so that's a favorite of mine. And then we also do just an American lager with corn called Valley Beer. And that takes up a big amount of production. I'm turning 90-barrel tanks to that pretty frequently.
Really? Is that something that you've seen just a general increase in demand for?
It was slow.
Yeah, it was.
An increase, but it's been slow. It was tough to kick off because I think when we kicked it off, it was a couple of years ago, and no one really gave a damn about lager brewing.
No.
And especially the growth of these regional breweries starting to bring back their own regional lager, which has not been done for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think that was kind of the vein we wanted to go for, have this classic design, this classic beer, something that just represented the history of American brewing. And we just packed that into a little American corn lager with all Czech Saaz hops.
That's awesome.
What do you think people are tuned into that sort of style now? Why do you think the growth? I mean, we've seen it before too, in the past 6-8 months. A lot of brewers are talking about it, but I don't really know what it is.
There's so many things it could be. Some people say people are gearing towards healthier, more drinkable alcohol products. I mean, you see that with hard seltzer and all that stuff. But, I don't know. I think just people really are starting to appreciate the communal aspect of what low alcohol lager can be, and at the same time supporting your local brewery. So I think it's a win-win of support local, and just having the nice, fairly priced communal beverage that's easy to drink.
Yeah, I think it's also it's just the approachability of the beer as well. I mean, a lot of the big hazies are they can be it's like a relationship sometimes with them you have to develop. And I think I'm excited to try the Valley Beer. and your pills. I mean, I just, also for me, an older guy, has been doing it for a while. I mean, I'm sort of gravitating towards them as well. I think, and you see, and on the show, like you said, JP, we're seeing more and more brewers come on and talk about lagers. And so that's exciting, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, so lager is a big focus for us. I mean, we also do I don't think I even mentioned it to you guys in the notes, but every year, well, yes, last year was our inaugural. We do a lager celebration, and it was an invitational, and we invited out, Peter Allen and Beer Stott and a lot of like, and there's a lot more than that, but a lot of like big hitter lager brewers. They all came out to Phoenix and brought 2 or 3 of their most beers that they're proud of. Holy Mountain brought like a smoked Hellas, I believe, or some kind of crazy smoked dry hopped lager. And so it's just awesome to see all those brewers, like you said, who are all heavy into the lager brewing and all celebrate it together. And so we definitely lean towards that style of brewing.
Yeah, I love it for just, purely selfish reasons. And I really hope the pendulum doesn't swing the other way again. I mean, I know it inevitably will, because that's just sort of what happens. But I would really like for lagers like these to sort of find a foothold, and they don't disappear like Porter did.
Yeah.
Or like no one brews a porter except just to be ironic sometimes, and that's about it. I don't want that. I want to
bring one next week. I'm being ironic.
Oh, damn. Well, you're old enough to remember that. When it was invented.
Hey,
so
it's one old comment per show. I did it. Okay.
Well, okay, you're right. I'm sorry. I read the contract again. You know what I mean? I really hope that because you can really get a full expression of hops and malt and the brewer sort of intention through those, and I don't think that there's not too many beer styles like that you can. I mean, sure, IPA, but that's really heavily skewed towards the hop side. But
there's a lot of nuances in IPA brewing, especially hazy IPA brewing, that don't get noticed by the consumer, but can definitely be stressed over and thought about by the brewer for quite some time. Versus maybe an American lager is definitely harder to hide from the consumer. They know what to expect, and they know when something's a little off.
Do you guys do hazy beers there?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Oh, you do.
Spellbinder is a hazy IPA.
Is a hazy, okay.
Pretty much every one-off double IPA we do as well.
Okay, so you were saying half your basically production goes into the Spellbinder, so that is a hazy. Okay, wow,
and then we're splitting it up in little pies after that. But double IPA takes a good chunk.
That's crazy to me, man. That's a lot of hazy beer to crank through.
What's the beer of yours that we won a GABF? Yeah, it was either last year or the year before, just in the last couple of years.
This most recent GABF, Spellbinder won gold for hazy IPA.
Wow. Damn, dude. Congrats on that.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It's probably Kim's dad drinking most of it.
Probably. Yep.
He pushed it, yeah. Sure.
If they ever move, you're going to lose 80% of that production. So just FYI.
Is your dad a hazy beer freak?
Yeah. I mean, you know what? He never used to be. Like Trumer Pilsner, and then Pivo Pils were his go-tos for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that changed when he moved to Portland, and he got more into...
He got radicalized. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like, in Arizona, it's like exclusively those.
I've never met your dad, but poor your dad. I don't know. We got to rescue him. I feel like.
Yeah, get that man more Trumer.
Yeah, get him back down.
It's hard to find, apparently, in Arizona.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine, man. I mean, drink more of their Pilsners is what you tell your dad.
And neither is Pivo. So if any of you guys know someone from Firestone, I don't know what the deal is. We're not getting Pivo in Arizona.
I haven't seen Pivo.
We get everything else
in a hot minute out here, man. Yeah, it just doesn't even. But I also want DBA to come back.
Yeah, that too.
In distro. That's such a good beer, man.
I get Union Jack though. It's a great beer.
Let's get Matt on the phone right now. After this break. He'd probably do it too. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man.
In Europe or something.
Yeah, probably. Let's take a quick break. I'm gonna go run and grab, I guess, the 2 lagers, and we'll come back. We'll open those and talk about your lager process and all that kind of cool stuff. Okay, sound good?
Great.
All right, cool. All right, hang on, everybody. It's The Session. We'll be right back with Luke from Wren House Brewing in Phoenix, Arizona. Hang on.
Segmented, demented, fermented. It's the session.
All right, thanks for sticking around, everybody. It's the session. We are back with Luke from Wren House Brewing, all the way from Arizona. And Sully, you were saying during the break that with this Valley beer is a beer that you did something with. I don't know. Explain it again.
Well,
I wasn't
so
listening.
I mean, I've been judging the GABF for a number of years now, and one of the categories I've leaned into, which is, I'll tell that story another time why I do it, but is the American light lager category, which has been split up. I think it's American Lager and American Pilsner now, and I'm pretty sure. I know I was on the panel that gave you that silver medal that year, 2019. So
that's awesome.
And like I was saying in the break, I haven't received my check yet, but I guess this will have to do. It's. I mean, honestly, I'm excited to try this beer. I think you just said that this is the first. What this is off your new production?
It's my first batch on the production facility. Correct.
That's awesome.
So we have a filter we're trying to get running there, but right now I'm just doing finding agents on some of these beers. So
well, honestly, I mean, first of all, to win any medal in that category is insane because I mean, it's like those are usually been dominated in the past by big breweries, and you have to be. There's no room for error. So congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely a huge team effort. Preston has been pushing that beer hard for a long time, and seeing the marketing behind it start getting the grounding, and then getting that medal has definitely solidified it as a core for us.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sully, when you're judging that category, how hard is it to differentiate beers one from the other?
You know,
I mean, I know there's a lot of like nuance you could do with its style, and that's not what I mean. But at some point, it's, I don't know. I would imagine it's a very hard category to like. To
well, it's interesting because if you read the description, if you want to geek out on the description of actually the category, it says a lot of very low to none, every flavor description, every attribute of the beer. So there's not, you're almost looking for the absence of things. And so you have to really produce just a super clean beer that doesn't have like a huge, and the glaring, like, you know, like too much bitterness, too sweet, you know, acetaldehyde, diacetyl, any sort of off flavor, anything like that. They just have to be just very subtly there for a beer not to sort of be moved on or to be considered. So it's an extraordinary effort. I mean, this is a category that was dominated by, you know, Coors has won that category a lot. PBR has won that category a lot. I mean, if you have any oxidation, that's going to show up really quickly too. I mean, honestly, those three beers in that category, gold, silver, and bronze, I mean, you're silver, you were probably a gold contender, definitely, in the way these things work. I mean, there are probably people who are championing that beer to be the number one beer, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not revealing too much,
I've heard
but
stuff like that. Yeah. So.
That's wild, man.
You got the gold medal.
Yeah, there you go. So what should we crack open, man? The Valley beer?
Yeah.
That's the first one?
You're talking about it.
Let's do it.
JP, I have a spindrift in case you're wondering, since you didn't make any sort of effort of getting me any sort of beer, so...
I think the beer shipping got delegated twice down the line, so I'm so sorry.
No, it always goes to JP.
Kim, do you live in Oakland?
Well,
do you live in Oakland? Where do you live?
Not that far from Cato's.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not that far away. If you want to come by, I'll just give you this glass here. Kim.
Honestly, you weren't even invited on the show. You butted in. So I don't know what to tell you about that.
The show is existing because of me.
Yeah, that's right. Don't tell Bev. All right, let's crank this Valley beer, dude. Tell me a little bit about this guy, please.
I don't have one with me, but I can definitely tell you about it.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Just take a sip of something.
Here's a porter.
Yep, Valley beer. That's exactly what I have, man. Looks great.
So yeah, Valley beer. It's a very basic beer. Our house malt at our brewery is raw North Star Pils. It's an under-modified American Pils malt. I love it. It gives you a lot of flexibility to tweak with on the hot side in the mash because it's just ripe for brewer modification. So we kind of do a really low and slow rest in the low 140s. And for that batch, I just kind of slowly brought it up to 149 or so. And then we boil for 90 minutes. We give it a bunch of saws just throughout the boil, which was something we kind of saw a lot of old pre-prohibition American lager brewers doing. It was constant boil additions. So we hit it with that, and then very lightly. And then, that's pretty much it. We ferment with our house lager yeast. It's a Bavarian strain that we love. And we use for all of our lagers.
There's a little bit of sulfur kicking off on that guy too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but not
sulfur.
I mean, there's a lot, but it's not bad. It really works well with the overall, with the aroma from the hops and the aroma from the malt. It really sort of works in concert together. It's not sticky outy, is what I say.
It's not too. It's got a light fruit note too, but the SO2 is pretty low. I mean, it's not really robust at all.
No,
it definitely is in this beer. It gets very robust, and I can smell it in the whole brewery. But it's kind of it's a big American lager when it's fresh in the cans, and it mellows out to like industry norm after just a little bit of time in the cans.
It's mellow now.
Yeah, I like it. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. It's
and this is a beer that's slowly climbing the list of people's go-to beers out there, huh?
Yeah. So recently I got the American light version of that going, Valley Beer Light, and kind of just brewed that same beer up to the hops a little bit, and then just expanded with slightly modified RO water almost in half, and got this like 7.5 Plato wort down to 1.3. Got a little 3% American light lager going too. I'm super happy with that one. So
I would be too, dude. That is like,
I'm bummed we didn't send you guys.
I don't know what it is about those sort of light lagers like that. The American light lager. I don't know, man. I like it a lot.
I'm a huge fan of Coors Light. I'm unabashed about it. I think every brewer has a dirty little secret. My little dirty secret is I have a 6-pack of Coors Light in my fridge.
It's an easy one. Yeah. I'm into the High Life Light, but I just can't find it very often. But they have it in Arizona a little bit.
What's it like brewing in Arizona? Your waters kind of be a little challenging at times. I mean, are you relying upon RO and adding back, or what? How do you do that?
Yep, we've always been using RO. I think the first short stint of the brewery in Phoenix was charcoal filtered and softened. But we've always used RO since then. In Phoenix, it had a lot of challenges. Our glycol chiller was outside. It was oversized, but we had glycol issues on a weekly basis in the summer. It's 110, 115 degrees. And I had many knockouts because we had a dual stage heat exchanger, so we run glycol and ambient water through our glycol heat exchanger. And so I would stand out there with the hose, just misting our condenser on our glycol chiller for like a straight 40 minutes, just sitting on my phone, like misting so that it wouldn't trip because it's just too hot. It can't. Water is really hard. In Phoenix itself, had high levels of like chlorine and definitely a lot of stuff we don't want. So the RO system was crucial there. Same with when we got up to Prescott, this facility did not have an RO system in it. So that was number one for us. We got a state-of-the-art RO system going, giant storage tank out back. And I build up for a lot of our beers. I'm still in the first 3 months of brewing on this 30-barrel system. So just recently I've started to just blend in Prescott City water, which doesn't have bad stuff in it. It's just really hard, high calcium levels and pretty alkaline. But I'm starting to blend in certain percentages into like darker beers, and I did a West Coast triple IPA, so I kind of blended in a bit for that. So just relying on RO for sure.
This beer is great, man. It is. Got a very I want to say like a lemon drop character, but not like the drink, like a lemon head, like the candies, right? Where it's like there's like a citrus, almost tartness to it, but not really. But then the sweetness comes through. Yeah, it's very.
It's a spritzy beer.
Yeah, very unique, man.
Yeah.
What's the ABV on this?
4.6.
Oh, kiss me, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yep. Yeah, it's a nice beer. We carb it naturally. With a,
really?
with
Wow.
a spunding system. Yep. Yeah, that's my first 90-barrel brew in my entire career.
So this was the first beer out of the new brew house.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
nice.
Yes.
How does it compare, do you think, with the with off the 10-barrel system?
Man, it's hard to say. I don't know.
That's good, right? Isn't that what you want?
Maybe I think we got slightly higher hop utilization, so I think I dialed it back on the next batch. But
okay, slightly less, you said.
Yes, like higher hop efficiency.
Okay.
So you think it's a little bit more bitter?
I think just a touch, maybe like 10% more. Yeah. I haven't tried it in a few days, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not a silver, it's a bronze. No, I'm kidding. It tastes great.
Yeah, can you retroactively remove that? Man, how cool would that be to like, not cool, obviously, but just like every year you have to resubmit these beers that you win medals with to the panel, and they can tell you whether or not you get to keep your medal.
Well, funny enough, I'm going to shout out Cloudburst because I'm wearing this hat.
Yeah.
Steve Luke hit me up on the night of this last GABF for the hazy IPA. And I guess he was in the judging for that as well. And he messaged me saying how great of a beer it was. And it was an easy gold. And I was like, man, that's
nice.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, they brewed some.
Shout out to Steve.
They brewed some great beer there too. Yeah, man. I remember, I don't like the hazy beers, so I appreciate not having 12 of them here. But the Cloudburst beers were good. I mean, those were like, for the first of those hazy beers that I was like, I think we've realized how to make these things, and they were one of the first to be like, I can understand it. I'm not coming around to them. I'm not Kim's dad, but I'm coming around coming around to them.
It's hop expressive and soft and dry is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, it's not good for me.
Sweet and dry. If you're sweet and soft, it's a little too much. So
yeah,
find a good balance.
Yeah, well, that was also when things were still gritty. You still get a gritty thing. You're like, that's not what it's supposed to be.
People were learning. There was a learning curve.
There was a learning curve. Yeah, man, for sure. And, I think that's why I think lagers are maybe coming back. I don't know. It's because while there's a learning curve, sort of, we all kind of know how to make a lager now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't, a lot of these smaller breweries, I love them. You just can't disappoint too many people on $20 4-packs too often. They're going to want to figure something else out. So,
what is that? Is that the price for 4-packs out there? Is $20?
If it's like these higher hop double IPAs,
okay.
I think we're right around 18. But during that whole learning curve, though, you could definitely get something that was a bit of a miss, and you just spend a lot of money on that 4-pack. So.
Yeah, that's a hard price point.
People are definitely dialing it in now.
Yeah, that's a very hard price point, man. Absolutely. No, this is a good beer. This is a great start for me personally.
Great. It's great for your back and for my COVID vaccine hangover.
It's funny. I see all these articles coming out. Can I drink beer after my COVID vaccine? It's like, fuck, man. If you have to read an article.
I hit my local winery pretty hard last night.
Yeah.
If you have first vaccine, I went to a friend's house and made pizzas and we drank a bunch of beer and I was fine.
Yeah. If you have to read an article about it, then you don't clearly have a problem.
I had to. I had a bit of a panic attack before I got it. It was at this strange big Toyota sponsored music venue center in Prescott Valley, Arizona. And if any listeners know about Prescott Valley, it's just it's a place you go to disappear for the most part. And they have this big Toyota center and I called my girlfriend before I went in, and I was like, I don't know about this. This seems too this is weird. This is weird. And she's like, well, just think about how all these folks felt, with the polio vaccine a long time ago.
Wow.
They didn't trust it either, and they turned out fine. I was like, all right.
Talks you off the ledge.
That's good.
Damn.
I'm going in.
Everybody with an anxiety problem needs somebody to handle them in that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remember polio?
Remember the thing that you weren't even alive for when I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I would be concerned that I would be processed out, quote unquote, meaning I would leave on my back on the way out the door too, because it sounds like it's a very scary, very, very scary place, man.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, go sit over in that folding chair and make sure you don't die for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll check on you.
Yeah. Everyone was fine. It was great.
Yeah, everything's
such an
fine.
old community out there, though, too. So it's great to see like so many older folks getting vaccines there.
Yeah. We don't want them catching COVID playing pinochle with one another.
No.
That's for sure. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I don't know. Things feel a little bit like they're coming around. You know, the numbers are dropping and people are sort of getting back to normal in a safe environment. I feel comfortable. How did you guys deal with COVID when the whole shutdown happened? I'm not going to use the word pivot because we've worn that word out this year.
We pivoted.
Fuck.
Real hard.
Damn it. You weren't supposed to say the magic word. As far as like, customers in the tap room and did you have to change the way that you were able to deliver beer with people?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely speak vaguely to it. I'm such like a heads down guy in the brewery, but when it came, we shut down a week early, so about a year ago now. We just kind of did it on our own free will and gave ourselves a little time to figure everything out. We immediately started a delivery system with our local, this like wholesaler company we work with.
Mm-hmm.
And they were great. We were just sending a ton of beer. And then we were doing, seamless, like you drive up and call us and we bring your order out. We were cranking we weren't making enough beer the first month of COVID.
Wow.
And kind of freaking out because we were selling more than we've ever sold.
Sure.
So
you're like toilet paper.
Quickly trained up our cellarman on the brew system because I was pumping out like 6 turns a week on that little 10 barrel.
God.
And just dying.
Yeah.
I taught our cellarman Akil, who's now kind of our main brewer in Phoenix. Just trained him up quick on our system, and then we started pumping out as much beer as we could.
Did that plateau?
And, so we still haven't. It definitely did plateau to what normal numbers might look like for us.
Okay.
And then at that same time, distribution ramped up a little bit, not too much because, bars and restaurants still had all those issues going on. So yeah, it kind of plateaued a bit to normal sales, but we were still growing enough to obviously plan a new production facility.
Yeah.
And we still haven't opened the tap room. It's still just been to go and delivery only.
Okay. Do you have a timeline for when that can open?
Yeah, I think we're as far as I've heard on our group chat, I think we have the city of Phoenix is like approving, or that we have a meeting scheduled for a temporary patio premise. And it looks like in the next couple weeks, we'll be allowing people on site again.
Nice.
As far as I know, if anyone's watching, I don't know for sure.
don't show up.
No, he'll text me and then I'll let everybody else.
Yeah, everyone text Kim's dad. His phone number is 619-298 7400. Yeah, I don't know.
You can find him in his car outside Wren House.
Yeah. He's honking the horn in support every time you guys unlock the door.
We're excited to get open and start serving people again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's great, man. I guess I just assumed from all the horror stories I heard about Arizona that the state was operating like normal.
Yeah, I mean, it was so mixed. There's obviously such a different amount of people who live here, but
yeah,
where I'm at in Prescott, where we just started our facility, they haven't worn masks. They don't know what a mask is up there, So down in Phoenix is a bit better, and people were respectful of our business needs and what our bartenders felt safe with and what we felt safe with.
Yeah,
we communicated that really clearly, and I think it ended up working out well for us.
That's good. No pushback, because there's a lot. Social media now likes to really
not much at all.
Especially with the breweries and whatever we like to post their.
That's crazy.
Their interactions for the week on social or whatever. So everyone was cool. Yeah, good. That's great, man. That's great. I like that no one's sort of harassing you.
Yeah, we're just listening to the staff really and what they feel comfortable with. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear, man. All right, Big Spill Pills. Tell me a little bit about Big Spill.
Love that one.
Big Spill Pills. It's a classic. It's definitely like a cult following, but it's not for everyone. So we use
there's people in the chat just going, I love Big Spill.
Cool. Me too. It's featured around my personal favorite hop, which is Nelson. It's grown by Freestyle Farms in New Zealand. They're growing some of the best Nelson in New Zealand, hands down. This is the 2020 lot, and we're really light-handed with it. So we treat it like a normal Americanized kind of German Pilsner. It's our under-modified Pils malt, just a touch of dextrin malt to kind of amp up the body. Kind of when it says dry hopped on the label, I don't know. We just want like a bigger bodied Pilsner. Just hit with saws, check saws really lightly for boiling in the beginning of the boil, and then a touch of Nelson at the end. And then we dry hop with 1/3 of a pound per barrel of Nelson.
Wow, that is a light touch.
Right before the lagering process. So I like to creep it up a bit to 58, 59 to get better hop utilization, not so much veggie notes. And then we lager it until it's ready. Package.
How did you find the farm?
Wait, hang on.
Maybe Valley Beers.
Luke,
2 days less.
I feel like Zoom just sort of like tweaked your audio out.
Yeah, the audio is different.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll reconnect.
Maybe his earbud.
I'm sure he'll reconnect. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I don't like Zoom. I don't like it. I don't like this thing that we're doing right now. It's so problematic. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Are you there, Luke?
I think I might have muted myself on accident.
Oh, yeah, you're back. That's much better.
Yeah, well, Zoom like.
Let me try these headphones back in.
Okay, Zoom sort of like tweaked your audio and like it got real weird for a second. So.
Okay.
I think it was just a Zoom failure. I'm ready to get back to the studio, even though I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm sort of like I'm sort of ready to.
You of anybody. I mean, look, you have. It's probably not a good idea for you to get back to the studio. It's probably a better idea for you to wait till Zoom catches up, the technology catches up to where your level of anxiety can handle it.
Oh, yes, for sure. I mean, look, I was talking to Bev about this today. I was like, I don't want to go into the studio, but I'm ready to have better technology than Zoom. And if that means like Skype and then, you guys are on, a thing, or Luke.
Hey.
I'm back.
All right, good.
I don't know what happened.
We're just blaming Zoom.
We're going to blame it on Zoom. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Cool.
So we're talking about Big Spill.
Did you catch any of that?
Yeah, we got it all.
Some of it.
Yeah.
How did you find the farm for the Nelsons? How did you find the farm?
So we work with another brewery, a big brewery in California, and I just can't talk about it much. But, they help us out.
Is it Harris Ranch? They make.
I guess
they make meat out. They produce meat out here.
About it.
Yeah,
we're friends. I guess I don't know why I'm being all secretive.
You are being
modern
weird.
times. Modern times helps us out.
Okay.
The internet's going to blow up.
Yeah. Wait until Worst Beer Blog hears about this.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
I know Tim and Andrew really like that beer, and they've always wanted to help us out with it. So.
I mean, and that kind of stuff I think is cool to get out because they're a large brewery, and I think it's nice that they're helping other breweries produce a good product.
That happens all the time. That's the collaborative spirit of brewing. That's been happening since I started. I mean, back in the 1840s. Okay. I mean, it's like
when steam beer was first produced.
Steam beer. When I invented steam beer,
I gave steam.
Absolutely. Like we needed Galaxy hops. I got 44 pounds of Galaxy from field work. I mean, recently. I mean, it's fun. That's what happens.
I like those. That's the ethos of craft beer. It's like a rising tide and all that kind of shit. But you also just help your friends out no matter what.
You do. I mean, if Alex from Three Weavers gives me a call and says she needs like some advice how to make a Mexican lager, I help her out because she doesn't know how.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, you always take Alex's calls.
Well, I know she's listening to us, so I got to throw her under the bus.
Because she has no idea.
Got to get up. I've heard good things about Three Weavers. So.
Oh, it's great beer.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Flying to LAX and just walk there. It'll be a really painful, potentially painful walk because the airport there is like a bit sketchy, but you can walk there.
Well, look, he went through the Toyota COVID-a-thon.
Enough have to fly to LAX on Friday, so maybe I will.
You totally should.
There you go, man. I like this pills. You know, you were talking about it. It's not like a traditional. I don't want to say traditional pills, but it does have that mouth feel. It does have a certain level of. And I hesitate to say creaminess because that's not what I mean.
I know what you're saying. It's a little creamy. It's actually a little rustic. It's got a little rough on it. But the aroma's great. The body's great. It's clean. It's quite drinkable.
Yeah, and I will say at first I didn't like it, and then the more it kind of sat with me, and I guess I figured out what it is. I liked the assemblage, right? The way that it was put together and the flavors that you're going for and that you targeted and that you executed ultimately. But yeah, I think it's that mouthfeel that sort of threw me for just a second. But I'm a professional, so I got over
it. You worked through it.
I worked through it.
Back pain.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Just like my last therapy session. Yeah, it's good. And so you said this has like a cult following, huh? People are, if you like this beer, you love this beer kind of thing.
This is a good beer. Exactly.
All right. That's good, man. That's cool.
What's the ABV on it?
4.8.
Oh my God, man. It's a lot of flavor for 4.8. That's awesome.
It really is, man. Jeez.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Not really.
You're a little bit, but it sounds like...
Well, I'll tell you what. We're about to run up against a break anyways. So let me take another break. Let me get the other two beers. And, maybe we'll jump out of the call, jump back in or whatever, and then we'll be good. Is that cool?
Great.
Okay, cool. It's the session, everybody. Hang on. We'll be right back.
You're tuned into the session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, thanks for hanging on, everybody. Luke is here with Wren House Brewing in Arizona. And Luke, you're in your car now, and I apologize that you've had to, it's come to this, where you're doing the show from the car, but at least you're not driving, so you can still have a beer or two. Or maybe you can drink and drive in Arizona. I have no idea. Yeah.
Also, the light now illuminates his face more, so we can see his full cheekbones and everything, so it just works out best for everybody.
Oh.
Hey.
See, you got the social media influencer.
I should have shaved today.
Yeah. She's like, this is the lighting that you need. You need one of those ring lights.
Ring light.
Yeah.
All the TikTokers have them.
That's right. That's right. All those
natural sunset coming in on my face. I think it's great.
That's the golden hour, dude. You got the golden hour
picture. Let's see the sunset.
So it's peeking around some clouds here, guys.
Wow.
Flagstaff, Arizona.
That's right. Have we caught up to Arizona's time? Because they don't do daylight savings time.
That's right. In some ways, you're more progressive.
I don't know who we're aligned with. I don't know.
I don't know either.
We just do normal time.
Who are we aligned with?
And
what time is it? Right, it's 6:15 here.
6:15 here.
Whoa!
Time.
Wow! There we go.
This is the first time we've ever talked about the time zones on the session. This is awesome.
This is huge.
Yeah, Kim, I'm glad you're here, man.
I think the barrier of not having to be in person, we just open up more.
That's true.
There's a lot of sharing going on right now.
Yeah, well, this is the feelings section. We're going to start talking about the feelings of our show. And anyway, I have two beers here. Unfortunately, they're both IPAs, but I'm going to work through that. And I have Spellbinder, it looks like. This is the one, right?
Yeah, that's like our house beer, pretty much.
So it doesn't say on it that it's a hazy IPA. Is that because everyone just knows it's a hazy, or?
Yeah, I guess we're kind of purposeful about that. We just don't get too into detailed about the beer style on our cans.
Okay.
Which I think encourages people to look into it more online, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, I can definitely see that. The only thing I would note is that if people are in the mood for a hazy, or if they're not, and they try the beer, either they're going to be disappointed or excited.
I think right above the medal on the side, it might say like it won for juicy hazy. So maybe that's like the one descriptor we've got.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe my eyes are too old.
Yeah, you
Totally
have to look really. You have to look really hard for that, though.
There you go.
Just pour it in a glass and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Well, and
if you know, you know. So be quiet.
And we've had this discussion before where, especially when the hazy thing was really hitting hard at the bar, the kids weren't putting if it was hazy or not. So I'd get like a pale ale and it would be hazy. I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't want this. So for me, it's very much like not a sticking point, but it's like a point of concern. Even though sure. I don't drink IPA, so I'm never going to get burnt by it. I'm not, you know what I mean? So I don't really care. I don't have a dog in this race. It's a thing I like to mention because I'm crazy. Tell me about
if you see an IPA from us, it's hazy.
It's hazy.
I'll probably say if it's not.
Okay, that's fair enough, man. Well, look.
Yeah.
And if it's Spellbinder, 100%, it's a hazy beer. Was this the first sort of like crack at hazy beers that you did? The Spellbinder?
Yeah, I mean it was the second, I think. We did one called like Eastward,
okay,
and then got into this. The beer's changed quite a bit over time. Started it with like putting oat milk in the kettle.
Oh, okay.
I just did that
a couple. Yeah.
Did you make your own, or did you buy some?
No, we were trying to buy it, and it was hard to find. This was probably 3 years ago now. So we stopped. We went really oat heavy after that. And now, funny enough, it's a wheat heavy IPA. It's a lot of malted wheat. We use raw wheat. It's called Sonora white wheat, and it's a variety that has been grown in Arizona for hundreds of years. It's a very high protein type of wheat that a lot of Italian pasta makers and stuff will actually import to make their pasta. So Arizona's got this like booming wheat industry of old heritage wheats. So we use those and then flaked oats. And we use our under-modified Pils malt as the base.
Man, another thing we're noticing more and more on these shows is that there's a lot of brewers going for those sort of regional, sort of extra grains, like you were talking about with your local, local wheat there. They're putting a nice little local spin on the product they produce.
I think it's a good tool to kind of set you apart a little bit.
Yeah.
And something you can honestly have like regional pride in. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And supporting your community and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I know a lot of California breweries got big in like Mecca grade malt and stuff like that. And, and seeing those maltsters grow with these breweries has been super cool to watch.
Yeah. What kind of yeast are you using on this?
We use dry English yeast.
Really?
USO4.
Okay.
Yep.
So the haze is a protein haze. It's not a yeast thing.
No, I mean, no, we don't rely on yeast at all. It maybe there's some in the can, but that's just dialing in this big production facility.
Okay.
But yeah, it's all protein polyphenol stable haze.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love the mouthfeel on it because it's not like overly pillowy and velvety.
Yep. Just soft.
I mean?
It's got some corners to it for sure, but the bitterness is sometimes I drink and I'm like, damn, I wish this had like 70 IBUs, but that's not the beer for it. So
how many does it have?
It does have a nice charge of bitterness to it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in some ways it almost behaves like a West Coast with aggressive hopping. If you close your eyes for a moment.
Yeah.
How are you? What's your hop profile? I mean, how are you hopping this? Are you biotransformation, like fermentation addition, or?
Yeah, it's definitely our goal. We ferment really cold, so I don't really want much yeast ester in there at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it definitely comes through. That USO4 can be pretty doughy. Can be a pretty doughy yeast. Yep. So we try and get that off of there as much as possible. We whirlpool with Crosby Cascade at about 0.8 pounds per barrel at about 175 degrees for about 35 minutes or so. And then it gets knocked out. And day 3, and that's if brew day was day 1, I guess. Yeah. So day 3, we dry hop with almost 3 pounds per barrel split between Mosaic and Citra.
Okay.
And that's pretty solid. Stuck with that for now. It's been working.
How long's your dry hop schedule?
I like to leave it on there because again with this beer, it's naturally carbed. We spuned it to 2.35 to 2.45 volumes. And I rely on the dry hop to help that, especially with hop creep, to keep action going in there and to keep movement happening under high pressure, to try and get some of that CO2 dissolved. So that the dry hop sits for 5 to 6 days before we start dumping it.
Okay, and that's at fermentation temperature, it's a little colder.
Yep, okay. Which is in the low to mid 60s.
Okay, interesting. I love it. Yeah, I like that mouthfeel a lot, honestly, and I feel dirty saying it.
I know, because you have to adhere to your rant about not liking hazy. So when we chip away at the edges of that, that's when it all breaks down.
It's just my mask is slipping.
Extra soft RO water, so it's hard not to drink quickly.
What's the ABV on this? What's the ABV on this guy?
Our target's about 7.1. That one might be 0.2 lower or so.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely could tell. Kidding.
This is 6.8 actually.
So you spooned every beer that you do?
Yep.
Okay. I thought that was really only I thought that was really only for the German beers to really kind of keep some of those, ester profiles in there, but what's the benefit of spooning an IPA? Same thing, I guess, right?
It's just what we've liked.
Okay.
Do you do that with all your beers?
There's no reason for it?
We try to do it on all. There's some that make it tougher. We do a coffee oatmeal stout called Joe Max, and just the aggressiveness of that fermentation. It's kind of hard to catch at a good time and get it going. But generally, all of our beers have some level of natural carbonation, and most of our beers are targeted to be fully naturally carbonated.
Okay. I mean, I imagine at some point it's easier on some level. It's just easier just to apply the standard across the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense, man. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to crack the last one here, which is Greenhorns, which is a double IPA with honey.
A little bit of honey, yeah. About 60 pounds for a 30-barrel batch.
See, okay. My dumbass was about to ask, do you carbonate with honey? Even though we just talked about literally.
That would be cool. We're not on that level yet.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. Tell me about Greenhorns, please.
This one was force carbonated to be front with you. Greenhorns. So when we got our production facility in Prescott just recently, our neighbors who are just a few buildings down, who we've been friends with for a while, they're called Superstition Meadery.
Okay.
And they make a lot of definitely heavier on the dessert sweetmeats, but they make such a wide, awesome variety of fruit fermentation, even wines and fruit wines and melanomals and all that cool stuff. So we got with them and Black Stack Brewing out of the Midwest, I believe St. Paul, Twin Cities for sure. Kind of got together and just brewed a nice dry double IPA. I think we finished it at 3 Play-Doh, a bit of honey in the boil and in the whirlpool, and the dry hop we hit it with Nelson, Simcoe, Citra, and a bit of Mosaic, and then same with the dry hop.
Okay, yeah,
Pretty simple beer. It's a ton of raw Arizona wheat,
hazy beer, raw Arizona wheat. Okay,
a Durham, Bluebeard Durham style of wheat, which is extra high protein, and a little bit of Sonora, and then flaked oats and pills.
How do you choose those grains? Do you go out specifically looking for high protein, or did you hear about it because you said you're in a small town of 400 people? I just imagine you walk into the diner and you hear some old people telling tales of the, you know what I mean? The I don't know, man.
You have to use the Durham wheat. You want to get the buffer stability, use the Durham wheat.
Well, if you were any sort of brewer, you'd use these soft old man yeast.
That's some kind of weird dream that I've had, I think.
You're gonna freak out tonight.
But no, I recently moved up here. I've been in Phoenix before this, and there's a big farm down in Queen Creek near Phoenix who's been growing this wheat for a couple generations now, and they do a few varieties, and we've just been trying them for years. So we figured out kind of what they all do and what we like from them.
So you heard it, you started poking around and using it here or there and experimenting and sort of testing out, and then you said, hey, this would be really good doing this.
And they're called Grain R&D, and they ship, and so if any brewers out there want to try it out.
Grain R&D, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, before I start, what's the ABV on the double IPA?
It's about 8.1, I believe. Be fine.
Okay. Well, no, what I was going to say was they sort of taste very similar as far as like the mouthfeel and whatever. Like I wouldn't have known, honestly, the double
drinkability
doesn't taste as alcoholic as the IPA. If that makes sense. Which I think is a compliment. I don't mean, every once in a while I get very concerned about what I say is like not really taken well, or like I can't really express what I'm trying to say. It's like it's not really a nice thing. It's not really a compliment.
Start everything off by saying, I'm trying to pay you a compliment right now. Yeah. And then say your comment. Like preload your comment. We know what the end of the story is.
I'm about to be nice. This
what?
Is But yeah, I mean, you don't get any hotness at all. It's very, very smooth and round. And again, it's not that pillowy, like I'm chewing on a velour tracksuit or whatever. There's, like you said, there's a little edge to it every now and then, but it's definitely a little bit softer than the Spellbinder, but not as like, okay, this isn't even a beer right now. This is just like soft serve ice cream. Like this is,
it was always just kind of meeting in the middle with the consumer of just like, I know you guys kind of go crazy for these big, sweet, smooth IPAs, but I mean, let's give you a little dryness and get that body from alcohol more than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you want a little bit of balance in some ways because you don't want it to be too sweet, because if it is cloying, then you're not going to want another one. I mean, the whole point of what we want people to do is we want them to enjoy a beer and then another and then another and another. If you have one turns you off, then it's like, what's the point?
I wonder if the final form of hazy IPA is going to be just a tad over what like a West Coast IPA is. So you sort of like ride that line between the two, if that makes any sense. Like to me, like the Spellbinder and even this to a certain extent, the Greenhorns, it is more aligned with the hoppiness and the sort of like, I don't know, je ne sais quoi of like a West Coast IPA with just some soft, underneath.
Totally. I think that's great to hear. I don't see that as being negative at all.
Oh, I meant it. That I meant as an insult. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Because like we talk about gateway beers and like this got me into this, or, we're trying to get people, whatever. And I imagine like some beers like this bringing people out of the cult of hazy IPAs and sort of like, I can enjoy other things too, because there is that sort of like fanatical obsession with all of my beers that I drink have to be hazy because I have to put them on Instagram. And it's like, you don't have to do that. You can,
You're not supposed to say that.
If I do this motion with my hands enough,
that. Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
It'll happen.
It gets more likes. But yeah, I think Spellbinder is a super approachable beer. And
it is.
That's definitely well said. I think almost any kind of average beer drinker or someone who just thinks they might not even like beer can try that beer and probably enjoy it and want to drink more of it. So I think that's
definitely super
great
approachable.
aspect of the beer.
Yeah, well, and I think
approachable is a great word.
Yeah, and I think that's what hazy beers are sort of ultimately generating. It is maybe a better entry point than an American light lager for people who don't necessarily like beer or whatever.
It might taste less like beer to those people,
right? Yeah,
or
at least
more approachable. We have as a society, we're drawn towards sweet things. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I can tolerate it a little bit more than like pastry stouts. I don't know why. And anyway, speaking of other things, you were talking about you went to Arizona Wilderness before, coming back to Wren House, and you're doing their foeder program. Are you doing a foeder program at Wren House? Are you guys going to get into sours and all that kind of stuff?
Not necessarily. I think we definitely want to make some kind of expansion to our new facility in the future that has a focus on I don't know, more simpler, more rustic kind of style beers like that.
Okay.
But not necessarily into a forced category like that. But so yeah, not really.
Okay.
I think it's definitely something I've been passionate about in the past, and I don't know what happened. There's a switch in me. I haven't been drinking much sour beer at all lately, and I really enjoy like English pub ales and lagers, and so I think between that and the other folks at Wren House who also don't have a huge interest or investment in sour beer, that it's not really something on our horizon anytime soon.
Does it make you feel sad? It would make me feel sad because it's like you're obviously trained in it. You obviously know what you're doing with it, right? I mean, you were hired specifically to do the thing, and now you're not using that knowledge. Is it sort of like, are you going to lead the push to go there?
I think I'm a lot more attracted to the knowledge of operating a production facility. I think it's really fun and really challenging.
Yeah.
And especially when I'm making these beers on this system that someone else built and trying to figure out how to make beers that we're known for be replicable and taste similar. So I think you guys drinking those and affirming that they taste good was exciting enough for me.
No, they taste great. I mean,
that's good, man. Fair enough.
Thought about making a London Pride clone up there at all? Call it maybe Prescott Pride. I mean, that's like one of my favorite styles.
That would be awesome. We do make a dark mild.
Oh,
you do?
Called Pubber. Once or twice a year.
Nice, dude.
2.8% dark.
Oh my God. JP just fell over in his chair.
Yeah, forget about it, dude. I mean, mainly because my back hurts.
I'm smiling right now.
Oh,
he's just like,
before the show, that's what I was drinking. I brewed a black mild, getting back into home brewing with Kvike yeast.
Really nice.
Good. And 2.5, 3 weeks in, it's get this little thing, this little tart plum thing. I don't know, man. It's really interesting yeast to brew with. So I'm going to brew an ESB with it next, with the same yeast.
That's cool. Yeah. I've actually know a few breweries who ended up trying that as their house yeast and making a ton of different styles with it. That was an interesting thing to come out.
It's a super, dude. It's a super weird yeast, and it's like I don't know. The Brew Strong guys just interviewed Escarpment Labs up in Canada about they do all sorts of
they know the most about Kvike for sure.
Yeah. It's I don't know, man. Anyway, that got me super jazzed. But yeah, black mild, forget about it. That's my.
Dude, if we remember, we'll try and get you some for sure.
That would be tight. Well, I'd love to come and visit too, man. Once everything starts,
yeah, man.
There's no risk of dying.
I mean, so tomorrow, our Phoenix brewery is canning a nitrogen dosed Irish dry stout, little 4.2%er.
Damn, bro.
So we make those beers for sure.
Well, then I don't know. I mean, hearing Kim died there, I might not.
She lived there. She lived.
She was
Phoenix.
She was
That's
reborn.
True. That's where I became an angel.
Exactly. She's not even. She can do anything she wants now. She can drink Spindrift on a beer show, and there's no problem.
What is
It's the best excuse for everything. No one can say anything to me ever.
What is Spindrift? I don't even know what that is.
What?
What's spin?
Yeah,
You know what Spindrift is?
No.
I acted like I did. I don't know what it is.
Come on, I even know.
It's water. It's basically, but the difference between this and La Croix is there's like real fruit juice squeezed into it. So it's like a step up from La Croix. It's more bougie.
I know it's all positivity on this show.
No.
I tried one of those with the lemon, and it didn't do it for me. I was very put off by this lemon seltzer. So I want to try some other flavors.
Okay, not everyone has the sophisticated palate that I do.
That's right, Kim.
Which is why I'm on the Spindrift.
Yeah,
it's probably it was a bad can.
Yeah, Kim is what we call a super taster. I can't do La Croix, dude. There's some thing off-putting about how those flavors are mixed or whatever. I can't do it. I can't deal with it.
This is real juice. It's not the essence of, it's real. So maybe Spindrift is for you.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try new flavors.
Maybe. What I do is I just buy like normal carbonated water, and then I have like syrups for like making tiki drinks and shit, like a passion fruit syrup or whatever, and I just pop a little bit of that in the can, or a little bit of grenadine that I make, house-made grenadine, and it's good stuff for me. Wow. Yeah, I'm really cool, Luke. I don't know if you knew that.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's what your daughter says.
Actually, speaking of that, Sean, my daughter told me that she really misses Uncle Sean and wants him to come back.
I was there once.
I know. This is what she does. No, I don't know. Because I told her that I was going to go drop beers off to you. And she's like, I miss Uncle Sean. He come back now.
I brought her pizza last time, too. I brought the whole family pizza. So
yeah.
I held her once.
You're good. That's right. That's right. Well, Luke, I'll let you go, man. I really appreciate it. You guys, Wren House Brewing Company in Phoenix, Arizona. You can go to wrenhousebrewing.com to learn more. I do have like 2 feedback emails to read. So, Luke, I don't know if you want to get out of your car. You're more than welcome to, but if you want to hang on for another couple minutes, you can too. But that's your choice.
I'm hanging on.
Okay, you're hanging on.
I'm invested.
He's locked in. Hey, where did you go skiing, by the way?
Snow Bowl. It's in Flagstaff.
Damn you.
They just they got a 42 inches on this last storm
this
weekend. So I was just playing. I was playing in the woods all day.
And you blew your back out.
I did some cartwheels. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Snowboarder?
Yeah, I'm snowboarding.
Yeah, I cartwheeled and stopped doing that. I went back to skiing. The old man sport.
Yeah, the last time I snowboarded was with Chad. We went up for his birthday or whatever, and like my snowboard kept hitting the back of my head every time I fell. Like that's how hard I would fall.
Oh,
it was like halfway done. And I was like, you know what? I limped down the hill. I was like, you guys have fun. I'm drinking Gordon beers from Harrison for the rest of the day. So like, that's my memory of snowboarding is just getting drunk on Gordon beers from Harrison in the snow, watching people fall.
Yeah, it's almost as fun.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I'm too old now, I guess. I don't know.
Tubing is a sport for you.
Pooping is a sport for me?
Tubing, but that too.
I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, I could poop. I don't know. Whatever.
We all poop, by the way. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, shoot. I deleted it. No. Where'd it go? I had one feedback, and it was about me, and now I don't know where it is. I'm stupid. I feel dumb. Let me just scroll through real fast. There we go. Here we go.
That's the feedback.
This is from Mike. He says, JP, let me say you kick ass. Sully and Teresa are great too. You're sort of my hero 2.0. Don't take it the wrong way, but please have Justin back whenever he's ready.
Jesus.
I so miss that curly-haired bastard. His interview and cadence are smooth. That's from Mike. So thanks, Mike. If you guys want to I want to do more feedback. So if you guys have feedback, it's feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. We are, we're still doing feedback segments every now and then, although mostly our feedback inbox is just spam. It's like if you want to open any sort of equipment factory, the entire nation of China is emailing me about it. So I can pass on information to you guys. But
I think I get those emails too. And, sometimes that equipment's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. But whatever. Anyway.
We should do internal feedback of each other.
I don't know if we have the time or like the Xanax.
Kim, you would be ruthless. I'd be afraid of that feedback.
My stuff is already everyone already says what they think about me during the show, so I feel like I've been saving it up, so I have more than I need to disseminate.
I think that's nice that you think that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that would not go well. I don't feel like that would go well. I don't think we're at the point right now.
We're not there yet.
No, we're not.
Maybe
there
with
yet.
guests.
Yeah, Luke.
Have guests write in about the feedback about how we treated them.
Well, I think after the shows, at the end of the show, we should give everybody feedback on the guest. We should get the guest feedback on how we think. So, Kim, you start on Luke and tell him how great. No, I'm kidding. Luke, I appreciate it, man.
Tell
Thanks.
me how bad I am.
Yeah.
He already complimented him on the cheekbones in the car. It worked out well for him, so he's fine.
That's true.
Yeah, that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
I've done it.
Luke, thank you very much, man, for taking the time. It was cool to hear about how you guys specifically were going through COVID and how you dealt with that. And it sounds like, you know, it sort of was a benefit and a curse at the same time. But I'm glad you guys went through it, and hopefully things will be back to normal out there soon. Again, go to wrenhousebrewing.com. Do you distribute outside of Arizona too, or are you just specifically Arizona?
And not right now, but I think very soon as we get rolling with our production numbers and what things are going to look like.
Yeah.
You could definitely see our beer out of state soon.
Cool.
So just keep up on our Instagram is definitely the best way to see what we're up to and maybe even where our beer is going.
Cool. Very good. All right. Well, thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to the old Facebook Live. Shouts out to Big Facebook Town. And, this will be on podcast here in a couple days, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. Maybe I don't want to do it.
You'll do it.
I'll do it. All right. Sully, thank you very much. Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Luke, thanks again, man.
Great.
All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you.
JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great.